You're taking the absolute piss out of this great sport.
Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and you're a champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo.
You know, do you think I should buy something that was signed by Scott Hall? I kind of feel like I should.
As someone who is as big as a fan of Scott Hall, Razor Ramon as you are, I'm shocked you don't already.
I know. I just thought about it last night and I was like, I kind of like having like at least one thing signed by my favorites. Or like I've thought about wanting to do that, and I don't have something signed by him. So I was like, wow, maybe I should.
Maybe you should. I don't really have. The only signed wrestling stuff I have is it still behind me? No, it's over in the shelf over there. King Kong Bundy, when he came to Sandwich, Massachusetts, and threatened to punch me in the face because I asked him if he liked losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I have so much stuff signed, but like a lot of it is from the earlier days of when I went to SummerSlam. We used the programs to get signed because it was like you were meeting so many people. It was like I don't have things for everybody.
Yeah, it's easy to sign over your photo.
Yeah, perfect. So I have a lot of that, which like I don't have framed because a lot of them it's like I didn't really care about meeting at the time, or like I don't care about them now. So I only have Cena stuff on display and then Cody stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just a thought I had.
Now that I'm looking at it through my camera, my NWA title that I have, I would like Cody to sign that. That'd be or Nick Aldis is someone who was, that'd be cool. I just had a thought of interviewing people who have worn titles that you would collect. Yeah, and have them sign the ones that
I know
they won. You know what I mean? Like I would have Cena only sign that one. You know what I mean?
Well, WWE Shop has a women's championship signed by Trish, and I'm like, I want it, but it's like $500. So I was like, damn. But I'm like, that would be really cool to have,
it would be nice
because it's like, what a cooler thing to have with Trish than that.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing more. Yeah, souvenir, memorabilia, something is valuable. There's the word.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go there.
Yeah.
Sarah, it's actually crazy that, it's kind of crazy just how things are going on in the wrestling world. It's got to the point where in my own video game, in WWE 2K, it's lined up with the correct PLE because I'm also in King and Queen of the Ring season. Although with my nonsense thing, which I assume you probably have already kind of took the hint that I renamed things. So for instance, instead of King and Queen of the Ring, I'm calling it Royalty in the Ring. All right, just loop it. And yes, it is a 2-day event, similar to WrestleMania and now SummerSlam. The women's already happened. We have our Queen of the Ring, and it is Tiffy time to bow down to your queen. Tiffany Stratton defeated Naomi. Okay, Naomi in that match. Which weird. And I mentioned this before. Weird that she didn't get some sort of celebration. Why wouldn't the game? I know it's universe mode, but it should just be in any sort of King and Queen of the Ring tournament mode, whatever. You don't have like the scepter, crown, like all that, some sort of presentation. Like it's a video game. You know what I mean? Like whatever. But up next, which we're going to run through tonight, probably when we play Mario Kart, we got MJF competing in the King of the Ring. We have Superman versus Omos. All right. And then Will Ospreay and AJ Styles. So we have a little bit of everything.
versus Omos.
Like, that's what I'm saying. We're nonsense, but the matches are, like, all right, like, I'm interested. All right. Obviously, Will Ospreay, AJ Styles, any wrestling fan under the sun would love to see that. But just as a person, aren't you just curious how Superman and Omos would go?
I guess.
Like, I don't know. We'll see how it pans out tonight. And if you're really interested, if we get like 10 people, I'll actually start doing it. All right. Because we got to start using our time more wisely. I'm just going to do it for my own entertainment. But if we get 10 peeps, I'll fucking just throw that switch button on or Twitch button on. And then we'll throw on a headset and talk. Like, you know what I mean? But until then, I'm just going to do it on my own. Because it's fun. All right. Do you have Caillou in your universe mode?
No.
And you don't want Caillou because he still bitches like a little kid. All right, I can't stand him. Don't want Caillou. Moving on, I'm royal rambling here. Let's hear from the peeps, Sarah. Sophia still wants to do that skit. I don't know. That is a lot. What's up with Nathaniel? Missed you guys. Oh, missed you too. Miss you too. Do you think Becky and Bayley will feud for the IC Championship the whole summer?
No. I kind of feel like Lyra wins it back.
Yeah, I don't see it being the focal point of their feud, but I would not be surprised if we see them feud all summer. It's been great so far. And actually, after last night, I'm a little bit more intrigued. So I talk about it all. We're gonna talk about it. You have the rated R spinner belt. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I don't have any replica like metal belts. I have the replica Divas title, but like it's plastic.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't metal, so I don't necessarily count that because it wasn't $400, $500, $600. It was like $200.
Did I tell you, or did I ever tell you that we found the Intercontinental white belt at a Target in college, and we eventually made into the MVP of the weekend. So whoever had the best weekend or best story from the weekend, you were the champ for the week.
Do you know who made it white again?
The American Nightmare himself, of course, Sara. Who is the person that he defeated? That was the last person to have the, we'll say, attitude era looking Intercontinental title.
Oh, who did he beat to win the title? Ezekiel Jackson. I was there when he won the title, and then when I met him at SummerSlam Access, they still hadn't taken off Ezekiel Jackson's nameplate. So when I met him with the Intercontinental title, it still said Ezekiel Jackson. So yeah, and I was at that SmackDown. That's why I needed to go to Mania 40, because I wanted to make sure that I saw him win his first world title, because I was there for his first singles title.
I was just happy to be there for the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and I will fight anyone tooth or nail. The only arguments that I will accept are 17 and 19 for greatest WrestleManias. The top 3 greatest WrestleManias of all time are what I just named. I'll fight anyone on that. David Hyde. Nope, Nathaniel. We already got to that comment. David Hyde, didn't forget you, pal. Go Pats, Nathaniel. Well, enough of the nonsense. We got to talk about what went down last night on Raw on Netflix. Before you do, though, please hit that subscribe button, please. Just hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 2,400 subscribers. I'd love to get to 2,500 by the end of July. We're over 1,000 now on TikTok, I think, or approaching it. So we can go live on TikTok. Go follow there. No Nights Off show. Posting new shit. Like, come on. Support the pod. And then if we get 10 peeps, then the NWF will go live on Twitch. All right? Like, we're cooking things up. Just like they're cooking things up on Raw. Sarah, take us away.
Oh, gosh. Hold on. I got to yawn. Oh,
look at that.
I hate when I yawn so much and then, like, my eye starts watering.
James B. Jones yawning over there.
I can't deal. Okay. Anyway.
There you go.
So Raw starts off with the lovely Liv Morgan and Dom Dom. And Liv makes her intentions clear. For the most part, she wants a rematch. She never got that rematch because after, talking about everything that she's done, addressing how Nikki Bella completely ignored her when talking about the women's division last week, she's like, you know what? I want my women's world championship back. So that prompts Io Sky to come out for the first time in what feels like 8 months because they decided to make her champion and then do nothing again. And they hint at their rematch coming up, which I am excited about because I know that they don't really do the rematch clause thing anymore. I do think that seeing Liv versus Io would be nice. I feel like that could be a really good match. Could even happen on Raw. It doesn't have to happen at a PLE. But I would be intrigued because I want to see Io have a women's title run that is better than it was when she won the last time. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to see her cut more promos. I want to see her in more like legitimate feuds, and that goes beyond Bayley because that was like all it was, like I think her versus Liv could be really good.
Her and Liv would be a very interesting feud because obviously Liv has the character nailed down and the look, the aura, whatever presentation, whatever word you want to use to describe it. A lot of people, to me, question her in the ring, which they shouldn't. And Io would be a great. I know what the IWC says. I don't agree with it.
They're insanity.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to tell the peeps now to not listen to the IWC. You listen to me, okay? It would be a great test for that. There's a lot of stuff that Liv can do in the ring, and needs an opponent like Io Sky to showcase that. Mm-hmm. I'm all in for their match to be whenever, especially when we'll get to, but whenever that it may be, and not just one match. This could be something that could last for, quite a few months, and I'd be totally okay with it.
Well, and I think this is more interesting than seeing Liv constantly in the title picture because it's her and Rhea. People got sick of that because of how long that was drawn out. But I think Liv has established herself, in my view. Apparently other people don't agree, but I think that she's established herself as a main event woman in the division. And so she should be treated in the same way that like Rhea is, where Rhea is constantly in the women's title picture. Well, I think Liv should too. I would even be interested in seeing her in the mid-card title picture. Like, I think that would be something cool for her to do as well. I mean, they have it with Becky right now, so it's not like that's a downgrade. I think that could be an interesting story, especially like I would have loved to see Dom and Liv as Intercontinental champions at the same time. I would love that. Like, how annoying would they be to everybody if they could each be Intercontinental champion? Just imagine the possibilities there.
Oh, well, the pictures that they could take, just the social content, the promos that they could do, I'm better than you in every way, like just how they would flaunt it would be really cool to see. That's just not it right now. Though the IC title is kind of tied up in other things.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Jay thinks that I wrote what Liv said.
Listen, he's not like totally far off. Totally understand what he means. Because it was bold and brash. So
yeah, I mean, hey, she's not wrong. Okay. People want, okay, I get it. Like, she's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because she's not like a big, strong wrestler. She's not, her character, she's a heel, so people aren't going to like her for that reason. But people don't give her enough credit for like how good she actually is in the ring, and the way that she busts her ass. Like, where people are acting like she's a Divas era wrestler or something, where the people are like, oh, I can't watch her match. I got to go take it's a bathroom break. Like, let's not talk about Liv Morgan like that. Okay. Like, that's insane. She has come such a long way, even just over the past like 3 years. Like, come on. She deserves more credit.
Way more credit.
But unfortunately, she she was all over the place last night. Okay, so that's the thing. I made a TikTok about this because Jay, I saw your comment. Yes, her injury is real. So she was everywhere, right? She starts the show, she makes it clear, okay, she's gonna be involved with something with EO for the women's world title, but we saw a backstage segment with Judgment Day, so she's still beefing with Roxanne Perez. Something's going on with Roxanne and Dom still, so there's that element between Liv and Dom. Then there seems to be like maybe a little bit of tension between Raquel and Liv, Finn and Liv. Like she's just literally everywhere. Plus, we can't forget about this impending match that she was going to have with Nikki and Brie. So she was everywhere. Then she has this match with Kairi Sane. That's just basically a follow-up
It's gonna be so good too. I was right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like another level. Like the EO Sky thing. Like this is where you get to showcase Liv in the ring more and not just her presentation outside of it.
Yeah, so she was wanting to get revenge from the week before for the qualifying match, and it didn't take long for her to just land awkwardly and pop her shoulder out of socket. And I immediately felt for her because I think it's called subluxating shoulders. It's an injury that I actually got from when I was in dance, when I took dance.
Oh, you were a dancer.
Yeah, I was a hip hop dancer.
Oh, my nephew just joined a team. Let's go.
Yeah. So I injured myself, and so like my shoulders will just randomly pop out of socket if I put my arms in certain positions. So the last time that it happened, my shoulder was popped out for maybe like 8 seconds. And I know, and I have to pop it back in myself. And so like my shoulder hurt for probably a week. So it's just such terrible timing for her. From what I've seen, they haven't spoken about the severity of it. She has already taken to social media, but posting pictures and whatever. So she also hasn't said anything. But she has had this injury before, and she was out for 6 months. Other wrestlers have had this injury before and were out a similar length. I hope that's not the case with her, because what terrible timing.
Awful.
As I said, she's involved in so much stuff right now. Evolution is coming up next month.
That's what I was thinking about today. Was she has to defend the tag team titles against somebody, and it seemed like we were building to a Bella Twins versus Raquel and Liv. So I don't know where we're gonna go from here. We're gonna have to vacate the titles, a little tournament action. Bella's standing on top. I don't know, Sarah.
They were avoiding the curse of the women's tag titles for so long.
They held it on too long. That's the thing. They if it should have went someone else.
And then of course, like that, it could put that on hold because we don't know for sure, but it kind of looked like they were. I mean, it made more sense for it to be the Bellas versus Liv and Raquel than it did, Liv versus Nikki. So that is a huge pause for even Nikki, which that kind of sucks for her because if and Brie, I guess. But then it's like, what are they going to do with this situation with Roxanne and Dom? Like, we don't know the direction that they were going to go in there, but if Liv is gone for a while, it's like, are they just going to move forward and like have that be a thing? But what I want to see, if Liv does have to take time off, I want to see her be around still. She can still be in backstage segments. Yeah. That's what I would love to see.
Sarah, did you put, I'm putting some dots together. I'm kind of realizing that how Liv and Roxanne is now mimicking Rhea and Liv when she first introduced herself. Even, to the detail of
getting
said
hurt,
person getting injured, having to take away time. Now there's a new little piece of eye candy in the Judgment Day clubhouse. The eye candy is bringing you chicken nuggets whenever you want.
Yeah.
She's making sure you're warmed up for your matches. She may even help you out in said matches so you can keep your precious Intercontinental Championship. A lot of similarities. All right. A lot of Kennedy Lincoln similarities there.
I'm just like, I'm kind of torn on if I want them to go through with that, because I honestly love the dynamic between Liv and Dom. Like they're just
it's too
natural
good.
heat magnets.
It's too good.
I
They
mean,
know
you
how
have
do
to
it.
remember, right? When they started off Raw, Liv is getting booed, right? But it was only 5 weeks ago when Dom was getting cheered for winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, when he was getting cheered on Raw in matches that had Penta in them. Now he's going back to getting booed out of the building again. So it's like, I don't want to see them get rid of that because I really like them together. And yes, Roxanne and Dom could be really good together, but I would hate for that situation to devolve into that simply because Liv had an untimely injury. You know, like I think that there is an argument that could be made that Liv has kind of outgrown the Judgment Day, but I don't think that that means that Liv has outgrown her partnership with Dom. So I don't want to see that like thrown away because she has to be off TV for a while. You know?
I know there's a lot of different avenues to get yourself on television without getting physical in this
I know. That's
age
why I
of
hope that they'll
WWE.
keep her
So
around. I would love
never
for her
know.
to, and that's they could write that in too, because like you said, she can easily remember, oh wait, this is what happened with Rhea. I have to be around because I don't trust Dom. I don't trust Roxanne. Like it's an easy way for her to be
I
there.
got it.
And they could always like pre-tape things too to make it seem like
Absolutely.
she's there when she's not. We wouldn't know. You know? So like I don't know. I think there's a way to do it because I think Liv is too valuable to them right now. I mean, on Raw and in the women's division for them to just completely sideline her. Like we can all be informed that yes, she's injured and she can't perform in the ring, but that doesn't mean that she has to be off TV for a long time. You know?
Sorry, I figured it out.
But
You keep Liv on TV, whatever, and do this. Even if she can't, whatever. It still doesn't matter. We have Roxanne. Oh no, Adam Pearce is gonna take away our tag team titles. Well, I can step in.
Roxanne, yeah. No,
Roxanne and Raquel versus the Bella Twins at Evolution.
I know.
That's what I would like to see as a good plan, you know, a nice plan B.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hate it.
I agree with Richard. Putting so many stories on one woman is a double-edged sword. Like, it's really cool because that is definitely not something that they used to do with the women. I mean, women were fighting to have one story, right? Like that they were involved in. And there are still women who are fighting to have any sort of story. Okay. Yeah. So the fact that she's involved in like 5 at the same time is incredible. But then, of course, when something like this happens, it's terrible because if she is injured and you know, like Richard said here, she could be out for 2 to 4 months, could be up to 6 months. We don't know at this point because they haven't said. But because there is a possibility that she can't compete for a while and maybe the injury is severe enough that she can't even like travel to the shows, so she can't even be in backstage segments, that then kind of derails those 5 stories that she was involved in. So it's like, it just sucks. It's like injuries suck no matter when they happen and who they happen to. But it really sucks when it keeps happening to the same person at like such peak moments in their career. And so to see this happen to Liv again, it's just like, you know, it's terrible.
It sucks.
And see, this is what Jay said too. Like maybe we'll see Roxanne step up if they're like, oh, well, you know, she can't compete. So, you know, and I did.
Sounds like an idea that Finn Balor would come up with.
For real. I did see her latest post and I'm obsessed. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Did you see Sabrina Carpenter's like new photo?
Oh, that? Oh my god, hot as fuck, Sarah.
Liv or Sabrina?
Well, both the photos. What the?
Oh, okay. I was trying to see if you were saying that you saw the photo.
Oh, I did. The photos were hot as fuck, Sarah.
Okay.
Holy
anyway,
shit.
well,
like,
I love that it stirs up fans so much because they immediately just go be like, "Liv, Dom is married. This is so disrespectful. How dare you, Dom?" And it's just like, oh my god, she really.
Those people really have no idea how show business works. It's so
just
funny.
like so ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
Like,
But sticking with the women, we had the triumphant return of Asuka. and she was in a qualifying match against Stephanie Vacquet, Ivy Nile, and who was the other one?
It was it was Asuka, Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vacquet.
Yeah. Who's the fourth? Why can't I remember? Why can't I ever remember?
There's so much to read. Oh, Raquel.
Oh, Raquel. Yes.
Raquel,
I always forget one, no matter who it is. Okay. Anyway, and I really feel like this one was kind of a toss-up because there were moments where it looked like even Ivy was gonna win. So
I would have been fine with anyone in that match winning, to be quite honest with you. It makes sense they went with Asuka and happy for it, but the way the women's division's going, something new would be nice.
Well, and if you look at the current women's champions, it's the opposite of the men. So both women's champions are baby faces, considered baby faces. So it would have made sense for a Raquel to win and Ivy Nile to win. Or, I mean, I think most people probably thought Stephanie was going to win simply because of her being Stephanie. But no, Asuka won, which is very cool. So she is going to be in the Queen of the Ring semifinals. And let me see, because I have the Queen of the Ring. So
you got it.
She will be going up against Alexa Bliss. And then we have Roxanne Perez, who is going to go up against Jade Cargill. So these are like, I have no idea. Like, and the thing is if you really wanted to look at it, the only one who really makes sense to win based off who the champions are is Roxanne. But I don't know that I see them being like, yeah, Roxanne versus Io is a great idea.
It would be a good match, though.
I think so too. But I'm saying that
would be a sneaky good match.
And the thing is it goes with the story.
It
goes with the story. Because this is the thing. Jade makes sense simply because of Naomi. But Jade would have to win the title for that to make sense.
And Naomi can also just interfere and ruin her chances too.
Exactly. So like that doesn't have to happen. Alexa Bliss and Asuka, I mean, they're big names, so it makes sense to have one of them in the finals. But and to me, if we're gonna do the opposite of what the men are doing, because a babyface is going to win, obviously given the final four, which we'll talk about, then it makes sense that like Roxanne would win. I mean, I don't know. So we'll see, but it was really cool to see Asuka.
No one's ready for Asuka.
Richard
I love seeing her back.
Her winning. I mean, that would be really interesting to see her win and like go against Io.
That's if you want to see amazing women's wrestling in the Japan style bleed over into WWE style, then you want to see this.
Yeah.
This is kind of how you get your wrestling fans to blend over into WWE fandom, and how your WWE fans can explore other styles of wrestling without leaving their comfort zone.
Yeah, just like what they were trying to do with Worlds Collide.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. And look how much of a success that was.
Yes. So, and yes, Dominic Mysterio is married, but I don't think that has anything to do with what he's doing with Liv. Richard says, I do think WWE should book more face versus face matchups because they lack heels for both the men and women. I mean, hey, they're doing that in the King of the Ring. So I think we're going to see it more. It feels like Triple H doesn't care about doing that. He's even done heel versus heel, which is wild. Because, I mean, wasn't it Dom versus Gunther and like Gunther was getting cheered? It was like, what the hell?
Awesome. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Everyone was cheering for Gunther to beat his ass.
Yeah, I guess Liv versus Io could have been for Night of Champions, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do it at Night of Champions either, because sometimes they don't even have the champions do anything at Night of Champions. So I don't know. But speaking of champions, I mean, he's here anyway, so he's been listening. But Gunther got his celebration on Raw. And he got a ton of pyro. So the pyro budget was spent on Gunther this week for Raw, which was very nice.
100%. Well, Cody just ran out.
Well, Cody showed up, but he didn't.
He was running out to save his peeps.
Yeah, he didn't get the royal.
He didn't need it. He didn't need it.
So I did think that was cool. But I do agree with people online. It was like, oh, his celebration was cool, but it was missing something, and it was Kaiser. And it's like, yeah, I think we need to put his face on the back of a milk carton because where the hell is Kaiser?
We do. I don't know where the hell he is.
I don't even like. I'm bummed about it, but it's like I don't even want to think about it sometimes because I'm like, it just makes me more sad. Like, it just disappoints me more. So I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I just want him to show up because it's ridiculous. Especially when like they're not really doing a whole lot with the Intercontinental title. They've done virtually nothing with it since Dom won. So it's like I would like for him to get involved in that again, just like he was before Mania, and then they left him out of the match for it. But anyway, so Gunther's, talking about winning, blah, blah, blah. Not saying anything like too bad about Jay, but he wasn't wrong. And then, of course, the crowd starts chanting Goldberg. And what I thought was cool is like Gunther addressed it immediately and was like, oh, no, like I already dealt with him, blah, blah, blah. And then just like moves on. And then eventually we hear Goldberg's music hit. And that was when I think a lot of people just started to like.
I lost my shit. I laughed so hard. I laughed out loud so hard. Oh, I can't believe they went through with it. I can't believe this was not a rumor that just got laid to waste. Like, no, it actually came to fruition.
I know. So like we were expecting this, and I'm sorry, but I really do not believe the rumor that the only reason that they took the title off of Jey Uso was to make sure that Gunther versus Goldberg happened. I do not think that's true whatsoever. No. That's ridiculous. However, it is like the first thing that I guess they're going to have Gunther do. And they announced that yes, the match will be happening in Atlanta, Goldberg's hometown, on Saturday night's main event on July 12th. So I have lots of thoughts and feelings on this. And I had some people coming for me on Twitter, including Final Boss. But yeah. Other than not really caring to see this match, even more so after seeing Goldberg being like completely out of breath by the time he got to the ring and him looking like he was slightly limping, that doesn't excite me. The main thing that I was more not like thrilled about is that yesterday was June 16th, and they're talking about a match that's happening almost a month later. Like that, what are we doing? Like, I get that you want to have it in Atlanta. Very easily could have done that. I would have loved to see, Bully Ray said this on Busted Open today too, because Dave LaGreca, and I think he echoed a lot of people's thoughts on this situation, that you knew the chatter was happening about Goldberg coming and wanting to face Gunther, but the way they went about it is something that people are complaining about, not to mention the last 4 matches that Goldberg has had were all losses. So it doesn't really seem to support him coming in and automatically getting a title match. But what I would have loved to see, and like I said, Bully Ray said this as well, is maybe we went like a couple weeks of Gunther doing open challenges. And so you get some random guys that are like, I'm going to come out. Kind of like what happened when Cena did the United States Open challenges, right? So like some mid-carders would come out. We'll just see Gunther have some good matches. And then we'll get to a point where maybe he beats like 2 or 3 guys. And then he does like another open challenge saying like, like, see, I beat everybody. And then we get Goldberg to come out, right? Yes. And it'll be like a week or 2 before Saturday night's main event. Like, that would make more sense to me, because then it wouldn't, because now we're like, okay, Gunther's not doing anything for Night of Champions, clearly, because they're not really going to do, I would assume, do something between now and Saturday night's main event for the title. It makes no sense. They already have this match booked. So there's no point in having a rematch with Jey Uso and acting like Jey has a chance when we already know Gunther is supposed to be facing Goldberg for the title. Makes no sense. It also then puts his SummerSlam plans, I would say, up in the air, because SummerSlam is August 2nd and August 3rd. This show is supposed to be July 12th. There should already be like a substantial feud or storyline leading up to SummerSlam for Gunther at that point, or at least I would like to think so, because if we're going to be treating SummerSlam basically like the summer version of WrestleMania, I would like to think that, 3 weeks away from the show happening, we already know who he's facing at SummerSlam. So that I think is interesting, especially with the King of the Ring happening. Like, does this mean that whoever wins King of the Ring is definitely choosing Cena? I don't know. But you were one of the people who was actually excited about this.
I know. I'm only excited for the sheer fact of nostalgia. When you hear Goldberg's music, you get hyped up. He is one of the best entrance themes in all of wrestling.
Some people do.
He has one of the best entrance themes in all of wrestling history, hands down. The presentation, everything. And I want to see him hit a spear, obviously. Like, do I want to see am I so excited to see Goldberg back that I want him to dethrone Gunther? No. I want to see him back because it is what it is. His last run. This is where he's officially hanging it up. And as someone who listened to his interview on CVV, they didn't do it the way that he wanted to with Vince. Vince kind of screwed him out and pressured him to take some
title.
of the.
So like, how much?
But that's Vince is like that's negotiation. Like Vince, like, all right, we'll do this, but like give you the title. I blame more Vince and Goldberg. Still, I'm making my point. So this to me is just Goldberg's send off. He wants to get back in the ring one more time. Fine, and to me, if this is just what it is, who cares? We're going to see Goldberg hit the spear one more time. Maybe he tries a jackhammer and because the knees, he can't do it. And then, that's another element of the storytelling there. I love hearing Goldberg's music and I love hearing him come out. So if it's just one last time and there's so much other nonsense going on in WWE, that my attention and energy is more geared towards that. And it's at Saturday night's main event. You know what I mean? This is not main eventing Night of Champions. It's not being pushed for SummerSlam. It's Saturday night's main event in his hometown so he can go off with his family, whatever cliche you want to put in. So in that case, don't get hyped up or riled up about it and pissed off, because to me, it's just like, it is what it is.
I think it's just that, like, we already felt like we saw his send off. And this just feels like a Brett Favre moment to me, where it's like, okay, he wants to end things on his terms because, like, oh, I'm not satisfied with this, or like, I want to keep going. And it's like, do you really have to, though? It's like, there's plenty of guys who didn't have a good send off or like didn't end things in a great way that are content with where they are. Like Batista does not give a fuck that his last time in WWE was the Blue Tista era and everyone hated him. He's like, I'm good with that. Like he's a guy that could come in and have like a retirement match or a retirement tour, but he doesn't care. And Goldberg is not like a WWE legend. This guy was in WCW, so it's not like, but I do agree with Jackson where he says, I'll say this, if Gunther does lose it to Goldberg, then I'm with Rikishi because this doesn't need the title. I think that's why I said when they were talking about this match happening, I was like, well, it doesn't make sense if it doesn't have the title, because why else would Goldberg be like, I want a match? Like, that doesn't make sense. However, I would like to believe that there's no way in hell that they would actually put the title on Goldberg at this point, because that's such a disservice to Gunther. And it actually is really bad for Jay too, because like, what was the point? What was the point of him losing then? Like you could have just had him against Goldberg or something. Like, I don't know. I get it, but I think this is the problem is that Gunther should be having a better title run than he did last time. This like puts him on the shelf for a month, and I think that's stupid. So I don't know. I don't know. I fair argument. That's fair. Anthony says, honestly, even though it's not a match I care to have happen, I respect Goldberg for going through this when he's clearly injured and physically limited to have a final send-off in front of his family. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. As long as it goes that he loses, but like he hangs in there for a while, I think that's fine. Because then you get that respect from the fans too, right? Like you don't only get respect from the fans in a match like this by winning. Actually, they would turn on you, probably.
Oh, there would be a riot.
Yeah.
There would be a riot.
And people don't even like Gunther. You know, so like that'll tell you something. So like it's like, you know, Kurt Angle lost his retirement match and that was against Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
So
wrestling doesn't always have to be a fairy tale. JC, I would have loved to see Braun Breaker and Goldberg too. I would love to see Braun Breaker spear the shit out of Goldberg.
That would have been a cool.
Oh my God.
That would have been a cool way for Goldberg to like pass the torch. You know what I mean? Like I like those kinds of retirement matches. Because it has more meaning than just like, oh, this dude's retiring or oh, this is a title match, whatever. But yeah, you know, that is fantasy booking at its best right now because obviously we're not getting it, unfortunately. But
I could do it in 2K in universe mode. Goldberg isn't on the roster yet though. But I can make it happen.
Well, I'm sure somebody created him. Yeah.
That's the thing. I still got to add Shrek, and other people too. No, because Shrek, have you seen the Shrek?
No.
You've seen Shrek?
Oh no, I have seen Shrek. I thought you meant the video. I thought you meant the video game.
Oh no, in Shrek when they do the wrestling scene.
Oh yeah,
he legit wrestles. Like that's canon.
So, moving on to the Intercontinental Championship, which Dom spoke about in a backstage segment with Finn because, you know, he's like, I have stuff I need to handle. AJ Styles is still coming for my title. He wanted Finn to deal with AJ, but that wasn't going to happen. So instead it was JD McDaddy and okay. So JD McDaddy had a match with AJ Styles and it was a good match. Of course it was. Okay. Dom got involved, but it did not work. AJ won, of course. And he made sure as he was hitting that pin on JD to point at Dom to be like, hey, I want that next.
I'm coming for it.
Want that next. So into that match, I want to see AJ versus Dom. I wonder if they're gonna do that. Oh no, they already made it official.
They did.
Right?
That was one of my
so
banners
that's happening
that
at
you
Night of
deleted.
Yes. So yeah, so we are seeing that match at Night of Champions. I think that's gonna be a good match. Like that. I know that the Saudi shows, they kind of just like throw, you know, like pasta at the wall, like hoping whatever sticks is what they do. Or like they try to put the biggest stars on the show and because they're the biggest draw. I think that we might actually have some really good matches to watch this year where it's not going to feel like, oh, I don't really care about
what building this
show is. You know, Dom versus AJ is going to be good.
Oh, that's going to be really good. Like that's the next generation. You know, that's a different type of passing the torch in a sense. And those are the matches that I want to see come.
And I feel like, you know, Dom has only defended the title once, I think since he won. And that was at Worlds Collide, right? Or Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank.
Well, the weekend.
Yeah, but I think that's the only time that he's defended it. Maybe he defended it one other time.
I think he had one after Mania. No, he had a fatal 4-way. Or like triple. He defended against Penta.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, it was
Penta. He
had 3? He had 3.
What? I gotta stop.
Versus Penta.
That was 1. Lindsay Dorado's 2. No, it was Wagner. Excuse me. It was Wagner. Octagon Jr.
Yeah.
That was not Lindsay.
Penta twice in Octagon. Okay. So that's why I couldn't think of the 3. Yeah. But I do think him going against AJ is like solid because they had AJ in the IC title picture even leading up to Mania. So again, it makes sense. It also makes you feel like Dom might not be safe. He might not retain. I think that he should retain. But we'll see. It is AJ Styles. So
that's one of my guys, Sarah. Gunther's here and Cody. What happened? AJ Styles.
Wait a second. How did I not notice that Brother Nero is in here? What is going on, Brother Nero? Hello,
sir. Yes, Brother Nero.
DC. Oh, hold on. I wasn't done reading his comment.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
He said that he hopes Dom and AJ will get more than 5 minutes. That has potential to steal the show. Agreed. 100%. I really do. I hope so too. Especially because it's for a title. And the only matches that we know of right now that are going to be on the show are non-title. It's like King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. So it's like not as exciting, right? Because it's like, yeah, they get title matches, but it's like it's not for a title. Something can't change. So I would like to think that that is true. I also do agree with you, JC. JD McDaddy deserves more respect. I say this every single week. Every time he's on TV, I hype that man up. That's why he has the nickname JD McDaddy. So he's just so good. Like the way he even sold the Styles Clash. Top tier. He's so good.
He's one of the best in the biz.
I really like his new shirt too. Like, I don't know, I like it enough to buy it, but I do like that it has his ribs and it's marked where he broke his ribs and where he punctured his lungs. Yeah, solid. Very good.
I need a new Cactus Jack shirt, as you can see.
They are way too expensive. Oh, okay, Cactus. I thought you meant the brand. No, get the Chelsea one. Get the Chelsea one.
Well, I was thinking, because I was thinking about doing Sexy McFoley for Halloween.
What is Sexy McFoley?
A McFoley who's not fat and out of shape.
Oh.
Fucking gun show, baby.
Can you calm down? Okay.
What?
Anyway, moving on to Bayley is finally back in the building, and she came out, and you could tell she was so happy to be back, and so that made it like, I don't know. It's like that kind of stuff. It's not that you don't see it. Like, obviously, it's fortunate that we don't see it a lot because Bayley was not injured, and that was why she was off TV. It was like she was just being held off TV for like storyline reasons or whatever. But it isn't often that you get to see like that feeling from somebody, you know, like the deep breath and just like taking everything in, and just like you could tell how grateful she was to just be back there. So I was happy that she's back, and of course she goes immediately after Becky Lynch because Becky took her out before WrestleMania so that she could replace her in that match. And she went after her for that, went after her for doing the exact same thing to Lyra, and just like hitting all of the points that Lyra has been talking about over the past few weeks. And Becky eventually comes out, and I'm sorry, but like we were talking about how there aren't that many heels. Becky is top tier right now because like the little things that she's doing, like coming out in head to toe Bears attire in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh my God. Heel shit. Heel shit.
That is something that's going to go over like so many people's heads. Like if you don't pay attention to football, but like that is a sin. That is an actual sin. That's like a crime against humanity in Green Bay to show up in Bears gear. So like she got instant boos just because of what she was wearing. So like I have to give hats off to her for that because that was incredible. Like such an easy thing to do, but like people don't do it, you know? And of course they go back and forth. They have a long history together because they were in NXT together. Of course, they are part of the 4 Horsewomen. The two of them are the ones that have always felt like they were the most disrespected or the most overlooked out of the 4 Horsewomen. And Becky made sure to touch on that, especially with Bayley, because she's a champion now, and Bayley is not. So she gets a cheap shot in on her before Bayley just knocks her the fuck out.
She did. She was trying to fix her hair, she said. She was trying to fix her hair. That's what Becky said.
So, I am excited about this, and I am excited to see, how they go about involving Lyra, because I assume that she is going to get involved at some point. Obviously Becky took the title from her, and when Bayley returned last week, Lyra did not know about it, and she did not look overly thrilled that Bayley returned and went after Becky, and now she's like in this storyline with her. So I'm curious to see how they set that up, and I assume it's going to happen at Evolution. They might set something up for Night of Champions, but I think like the real meaty match will be at Evolution, and I'm excited. I think this is so good. Becky's killing it. Everyone, people hate her so much right now. And I'm like, it's because she's doing her job. Like, there are people who legitimately think that the character that she's portraying is the person that she is. And that's when you know you're doing a really good job.
That's when we start getting into that gray area of people. That's when you know they're doing a great job, because
you're being a mark.
You're having that emotion come out of you where you hate Becky Lynch. Oh, I mean, yeah, I hate Becky Lynch right now. She's going after my girl Bayley. Come on, can't be doing that. But goddamn, she's doing it so well. It's like, gotta appreciate it. What?
It is low hanging fruit.
What is the Bears? Yeah, no shit. That's why you do it.
Okay, so the reason why I criticize Logan for it is because Logan can't cut a promo.
Oh,
Logan, all of his promos go for the low hanging fruit. All of it.
No,
so then when you come out in an American flag in Canada, it's like, yeah, of course you're going to do that. Because he can't just like he gets natural boos because people hate him. It's not because they hate his character. They don't hate what he's saying. They just hate him. So I criticize him for that, because it's like, you need to be better at the things that you're saying and get people to hate you instead of hating Logan Paul in general. Have them hate the character of Logan Paul. But he goes out there and he does that, or he says, you guys suck, I'm so good, you guys smell like trash, I'm amazing. Like, it's just dumb.
It's old school shit.
He's not good at promos. You can think that he's good at promos, but he's not. I'm sorry. Richard is enjoying current Becky and Becky versus Bayley, and he compares it to the 2023 one. I also think that this might be some of Becky's best heel work, which Richard is really enjoying and thinks that she should be champion. And yes, this is the thing. I love this dynamic. It's very similar to John Cena and CM Punk right now. The flip in that dynamic is so fascinating. Like, even if the match is not going to be very good, you know, it's still, at the end of the day, like, if you've been a wrestling fan long enough, or if you are familiar with that like 2011, 2012 era of Cena and Punk, then it's really interesting to see how the tables have turned. So I agree 100%. Richard says Logan has get off my TV heat. Exactly. It's not like, oh, you're such a good bad guy, I want to keep watching you type of thing. JC agrees Logan is not good at promos. Anthony thinks that Lyra will interfere next week to set up the triple threat. Definitely possible. It's even possible that we see Bayley versus Becky at Night of Champions and Lyra interferes then. You know? And it's like, then we set up where they're going to have some more tension between Lyra and Bayley. Because it feels like there needs to be something there.
There's tension.
If she's going to interfere, she's not going to interfere on Becky's behalf. You know what I mean? So, yeah. We shall see. And yes, I do agree with this. Speaking of interference, is anyone else getting sick of that on every show a bunch of interference matches, or, you know, it's just ending is really annoying. I also think that it's really bad that they keep having people interfere to help Jey Uso. He's their guy. That's why. This is the thing, though. You're confirming what the internet is saying about Jey Uso and why he shouldn't have been World Heavyweight Champion. And this is how I took it. The more that they keep having multiple people come out to constantly save Jey Uso makes it look like he can't hang. He can't do things on his own. He can't defend himself. He always needs help. So then it's like, if that's the case, then yeah, he shouldn't be World Heavyweight Champion, because like, shouldn't he be able to fend for himself instead of always having Cody Rhodes come out, always having Sami Zayn come out, always have Jimmy come out? It's not a good look, in my opinion.
All right.
Oh, Becky versus Bayley is confirmed for next week. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, something will happen. I'm not 100% certain that they'll hold off until Evolution for that. So it feels like something might happen because Evolution is next, or I'm sorry, Night of Champions is next week. So it feels like they would just push it to Night of Champions, but they could try and figure something out, I suppose, to then push that even further to Evolution, but we shall see. Anyway, moving on to Karrion Kross.
Thank God.
He approaches Sami Zayn again like a hawk backstage, which Sami calls out again, being just like, why the hell are you always around? How do you always manage to follow me?
He's just the lurking dark shadow that follows you everywhere.
Maybe he's like, did you ever watch the Vampire Diaries?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, one of the vampire brothers, has the ability to like turn into a crow. And so I'm like, what if that's what Karrion has? He just has a crow that just like tells him like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like a carrier pigeon, but it's like he's just got eyes on Sami all the time.
He's like a crow that they just gossip.
He's got a walkie-talkie with a carrier pigeon.
Can you imagine a crow like on his shoulder and they're just gossiping about what's going on in the
but he has
area?
He has like a camera on him, you know? And that's how Karrion knows where Sami's at all times.
Oh my God. I would love dialogue between Karrion Kross and a crow.
I mean,
I think that'd be hilarious.
I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. Copy Damon Salvatore from the Vampire Diaries. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, so Sami is, doesn't want to listen to what Karrion has to say. Of course, again, just being like, you know what? I don't know why you're obsessed with me. He started singing Mariah Carey. And then he's like, I want to go for the world heavyweight title. That's what I'm going to do. Karrion's like, you're never going to be champion because you just want to keep helping people and you're just kind of an idiot. And especially because he's like, you're going up against Randy Orton on SmackDown. If you don't get your head on straight, you're not beating Randy. You're going to actually watch Randy beat you and then go off and become a 15-time world champion. So, there are levels to what Karrion Kross is doing. And I think it's interesting that they keep going in this direction right now, like so heavily focused on the world title because of obviously the implication of what can happen from the semifinals of the King of the Ring, because obviously Sami would be going after Gunther since he's on Raw. But this feels like this is inevitably going to be set up for something for SummerSlam. I know that Karrion Kross is not everyone's cup of tea in the ring, and I'm not arguing that he's phenomenal either. I do think he has his moments that he can be good, but I would be interested in seeing Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn, like a real story and a match happening. And I feel like that is interesting because fans have been wanting to see Karrion Kross. So if you then say, oh yeah, by the way, he's going to have a match at, I guess at SummerSlam, that's pretty cool because then again, it feels like they are listening to what the fans are asking for.
I truly believe Karrion Kross has such a bigger, important role, at least from the fans' my point of view, in the show than we're realizing. And his role is more like, if you think about what he's been involved with in the past, I'll say 2 years, because I want to include McIntyre too. But everyone that he's feuded with about something that has to do with them, finding themselves or unleashing their true dark self has come to fruition. I mean, obviously Drew McIntyre could write a whole 5-page essay about. You have Nakamura, easy. I mean, that man is just completely different.
Ray.
You have Ray and Dom. That happened. And now with Sami, we haven't seen a dark side of Sami Zayn. We've seen a heel, chicken shit heel type shit with Sami Zayn, with the whole conspiracy nonsense and whatnot. We saw that, but that wasn't dark heel. Yeah. That wasn't anything when it comes to the violence and physicality of wrestling. We haven't seen any of that like we saw in Ring of Honor when he was El Generico. I watched their feud, at least the trilogy of it, and at least their ladder wars, like they were doing some crazy shit to each other, and we haven't seen that passionate side of Sami Zayn. We've seen the motivational, inspirational, I can do it all Sami Zayn, but we haven't seen the life is awful and the world is dark Sami Zayn, where I have no one but myself. I want to see that from Sami Zayn. And if Karrion Kross can be that guy to do it, that just means he can do it with other superstars. And he can be similar to an R-Truth, where R-Truth goes into, we'll say, darker scenarios and brings light into it. Look at the whole Judgment Day stuff. You could have that with Karrion Kross, and that could be your new lingering force that encompasses I'm making up too many nonsense words, but the point is Karrion Kross has an important role that a lot of people are not realizing is a critical role. And I'm hoping I'm not the only one who sees this, and that they see it in the offices in Connecticut as well.
Well, and I think this has long-term potential, so that's why I think it is also super interesting, because this battle from Sami to get a title has been a thing for years. So the fact that that is also like at the center of whatever is happening between him and Karrion is just another layer that makes it interesting, especially and then you have it, he's literally in the title picture right now because he's in the King of the Ring semifinals, and he's going to face he's facing Randy on SmackDown.
He's facing me on SmackDown.
So then we could see another development between him and Karrion on Raw, assuming that Randy wins. I think that most of us probably have an idea of what we think the finals will be, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then we could see something happen between Sami and Karrion again on Raw, which could lead to, like what Richard said, Karrion and Sami on the Saudi card at Night of Champions. And Sami can go over on Kross, maybe, or maybe not, because
who knows? No, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wins, and that's what leads to the darkness. Like, please,
yeah. There's a lot of possibilities here, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. Like, I don't know. I want to see more development in Sami's character, because I've been saying this. Like, I really like Sami. I think he's so good. But his current character is just annoying to me, because it's not a real character. Like there's just nothing really.
I think it is great. It's so like, come on guys, we can do it. Like it's over the top positivity, which
but that's what plays so easily into Karrion's point of like, oh yeah, you're not selfish enough, and so it's like that I feel like could lead to such an interesting story and like character arc for Sami that we haven't seen before. And that's what I want to see, because like I want to enjoy Sami again. Like I don't dislike Sami, but his character annoys the shit out of me, because it's like he's just here to like save the day. I just want to help my friends, and it's like I want better for you, Sami. Like I want you to do that for yourself, Sami. So God. I would like to see Karrion bring that out in him. And I feel like that's something that people could actually get behind, like beyond this just being like, LOL, Karrion's trying to troll Sami. It's like, no, there's actually like a reason that he's doing it, But yeah, I agree, Richard. We're going to talk about that in a second. But anyway, so we got to the main event, which was the last men's qualifier for King of the Ring, which was Sheamus versus Bronson Reed versus Jey Uso versus Rusev. And as I say here, Jey Uso predictably won King of the Ring. And I take an issue with how they went about it. About announcing him, because I like some of the theories that people came up with about who might be the final person in the qualifying match, but it is what it is. Just based on who the heels are, or I'm sorry, who the champions are, since they're heels, you knew that it was probably going to be a babyface that was going to be in this match. But what makes it more interesting is what this leads to for the semifinals. This now means that we'll see Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn on SmackDown this week. And we will see Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso on Raw. I'm like, okay, we were talking earlier about Triple H not really caring, about putting two baby faces against each other in a match. This is the epitome of like, I'm testing this shit and seeing how it goes, because you could not put two bigger baby faces against each other right now than Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
Oh, it's going to be
that.
Yeah. Exactly.
The story. Okay, well, let's talk about Randy and Sami first, because I mean, that's going to be an interesting match because both of them are so loved, obviously in like slightly different ways. But I think people are going to be torn on who to root for, right? Because it's like, you really want Sami to be in the finals of the King of the Ring because he's never been the world champion before. So it's like, oh, I want to root for him. But then you also want to root for Randy because you're like, okay, Randy Orton, like he was out for a year and a half. Like he's been clawing his way to the top. He just had that match with John Cena and it didn't go well. Love to see him win 15. So like, who do you choose? Right. And the same can be said for a lot of people with Cody and Jey. Jey just lost his title after a 51-day reign on Raw to Gunther again. So people want to see him as champion again. But then you have Cody Rhodes, who's his best buddy, who lost his title to John Cena at WrestleMania. He hasn't gotten that rematch again. And it's like, you love Cody. You love to sing his song. It's the ultimate underdog story. Who do you cheer for? I mean, it's easy for me. But like for most people, it's like, who do I cheer for? I think if we look at how they usually like to book Saudi shows, they like to put on as many like top tier star-studded matches as possible. Yeah. And to me, that automatically feels like Randy versus Cody is what they're going to go with.
1,000% they are. It's the one that makes sense. Randy Orton said on SmackDown when he seen and Cody were in the ring that he doesn't care who he has to step on to get another shot at that title and another shot at John Cena, because he felt like he should have won if it wasn't for R-Truth. And that's just the start of this Cody and Randy stuff. Randy's not going on a retirement tour right now. It's not a one last time Randy versus Cody. This could be the first of 3. It could be the first of 5. Who knows? With the current situation that's going on right now. Yeah, Saudi would love to have Cody and Randy. It makes the most sense. Well, and with Sami Zayn, or Sami Zayn or Jey Uso, it doesn't really make sense. It does not make sense with this story right now.
It only makes sense with that theory that people came up with, which was Sami putting himself first. And so he goes wild on Jey to make sure that he wins. And then he goes against Gunther, wins the title, then gets cashed in on. I think it's a terrible theory.
No,
I also don't.
There's no substance there. There's no details.
Well, and I don't think that we're going to see a heel run from Sami. Like, I don't think that we're going to have that, because we have to remember, like, Sami isn't nearly as big of a babyface, obviously, as Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, but like, there's a reason that they still cheer for him. They sing his song, so it's like, I don't think that they want to change that anytime soon. I just don't. That's not a. I'm sorry, and don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but Orton versus Rhodes is way more profitable than like Sami versus Jey or Sami versus Cody. Like, it's just like, that's just how it is. My only complaint, of course, is like, I wouldn't want this to be a one-off match between Randy and Cody, because I feel like their history is so deep that I want to see a real rivalry and feud and storyline between them. Maybe it's, at one point we get a Randy heel turn. Maybe we get the crazy Cody Rhodes heel turn. One of them becomes champion, and that's where their feud is kind of really goes on. That's what I hope, because I think that that match, that feud, that story has too much potential to just be like a Saudi show headliner because of who's in the match. Like, they've teased it so much, especially when Cody was champion. Like, I would hate for it to be just a one-time thing and then like we never see it again because, oh, well, you already saw it. you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Jay said that he is rooting for Randy because he wants to win that title back against Cena. Jay and Cody can
Good for
go
you.
get the title shots without winning King of the Ring. That, I mean, you're not wrong. Dylan thinks that Sami and Randy work because Orton is anti-hero. He's got more freedom creatively than Jay, Sami, and Cody. I mean, you're not wrong. I just think, I mean, if we're talking about Saudi and they're all about money, it just feels like it's Cody Randy.
It's Cody Randy. I
Yeah,
can't really.
it's like I hate it and I love it, you know, because like I want to see. I mean, once Cody came back and then once Randy came back, I was like, oh my god,
Mhm.
Cody's champion. Like this could be absolute fire. But because neither one of them were heels, I was like, all right, well, they're not going to do that anytime soon. So it's like I want to see that happen eventually, but I want one of them as a heel. I don't even know who I'd want as a heel because it'd be kind of wild if it was Cody. Because this is the thing. People act like Cody has never been a heel. And it's like, people are like, oh my God, the idea of Cody being a heel, that's so crazy. He would be such a good heel. Where have you been? He's been a heel for like 80% of his career. He literally was like, the only time that he basically wasn't a heel was when he was like a literal baby when he first came into WWE and like was still doing
when he
stuff
was like a blue chipper.
Yes, when he was
His green is his tights during his debut.
literally,
Seriously.
like when Dusty was still in the back, when he was like
Dusty was his
tagging with
manager.
Hardcore Holly, like that was like the only time because then he
Fuck
went into
Bob
Legacy. Then he went into like dashing Cody Rhodes. Then it was undashing Cody Rhodes. Then it was, you know, it was like everything from there. Basically, he didn't really become like a baby face, I would say, until like Stardust. And even Stardust wasn't supposed to be
Stardust was not a baby face.
No,
That man
I'm
was
saying
an
he wasn't
intergalactic.
Yeah, he wasn't
figment of
supposed to
our
be, but then the fans were like,
imagination.
"We love you," and then they stopped caring. So he like didn't really become a babyface until he went to the Indies and he was like in control of what he was doing.
He
You know,
wasn't
but
even a
even then,
babyface then. He joined the fucking Bullet Club.
no random shows he was the good guy, is what I'm
Well,
saying.
I mean, yeah, he would be random shows here and there, but then
Yeah.
he went into being in the Bullet Club, which was like the biggest heel faction
This is
in,
what
in New Japan.
and this is what I'm saying, Calvin. Like people acting like they don't understand. Like
Yeah.
he literally has been a heel for most of his career. But and that's why I say like Cody is one of the ones that is a over the top babyface that I can handle because my love for him is rooted in him being a heel. It's the same thing with John Cena. It's like I can tolerate their like cheesiness because I know that they have like good heel runs in them. I think that if your argument is you want to see a heel run with this modern era Cody Rhodes, 100%. Like I would be interested in seeing how he could be a heel now.
Yeah.
Because when he was dashing Cody Rhodes, so good. When he was undashing Cody Rhodes, so good. So in Legacy, he didn't get to talk a whole lot, but like Legacy was such an iconic faction that I feel like they should have done more with because like that was good. But yeah, like seeing modern era Cody as a heel, sure, that would be super interesting for him to be the heel in a feud with Randy because I think most people would expect it to be Randy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's easy for them to like make Cody be like, you know, the bitter mentee in that situation.
Yes.
And yes, I think LA versus Seth is going to be interesting. That is also why Pat's theory is that Seth will cash in on Cena. And then he can feud with LA.
You're there first.
I mean, it's possible because I do think Cena will retain at Night of Champions. So I think Seth could cash in at SummerSlam. There's 2 nights of SummerSlam.
Guys, get ready for it.
So, and I mean, we could see Seth compete on night 1 if he's in a match, right? And then he cashes in on night 2, potentially. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, he was only a babyface when he was teaming with his brother, which was not long. And also, he was also a heel when he was with Drew McIntyre in a tag team, when he was with Damian Sandow. Like, people just forget.
Also, fuck Bob Holly. All right, fuck Bob
Why?
Holly.
What did he do now?
Oh, he's just an asshole. Look, go read stories and listen to interviews about Bob Holly in the back and how he treated the boys. He's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know everything. But see, like some of my favorite wrestlers were kind of assholes in the back too. So like,
Yeah, but no. He was
not
like,
in that way.
no, yeah,
Oh,
not
okay.
not in that way.
Like
No,
I don't know,
not like ribbing.
kicking Miz out of the locker room.
No, not that. Like, no,
Okay.
it was Bob Holly beating up like tough enough kids.
Oh,
To,
okay.
like,
Then yeah,
give them,
you're a
yeah,
loser. Like
not like Scott Hall and the Click ribbing people
yeah,
or Owen Hart ribbing everybody. Like, no, that's not an asshole. Like Bob Holly is a true asshole.
yeah. I don't know. I'm super weird. Um. Dylan says with the heel Cody runs that we've seen, it was bad gimmicks that he made tolerable. With the modern day Cody heel turn, it would make Cody interesting again. I agree for the most part. However, I do think dashing was fabulous, and I also think that undashing was great because they took advantage of an unfortunate situation and turned it into one of his best runs of his career. In fact, I have a paper bag that I was given at SmackDown signed by Cody in 2011. So I thought I had it right here, but I do not. But yeah, no, that is like one of my favorite runs of Cody is the mat. I call it undashing. I don't know what other people call it, but I've always called it as undashing because
I've heard
he
other
broke
people
his
call
nose
it
and he was like,
undashing.
"I'm ugly," and so he wore a mask.
I'm ugly.
He said I'm ugly, and then he went and wore a clear mask. Like,
yeah, he's a king. King shit.
Just so good. But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw. All right.
Sure was.
It's a good show.
Thanks for all the comment participation and stuff today, guys.
Great
it makes it so much better when you guys like actually, have stuff to say, whether you agree with us or you don't agree, when you ask questions. Even when you just mention something that maybe we hadn't even talked about yet, like, or mention something that we hadn't thought about, like it's really cool.
Yeah, it gets the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all wrestling fans at the end of the day, whether we like this guy, that gal, this team, that team, who cares? We're all watching the same thing and enjoying it. That's what matters at the end of the day. Oh my God, you know what else is something that matters at the end of the day? When you hit subscribe, Sarah, when you hit subscribe and that bell notification to know every time we go live and
follow
post.
us on TikTok.
And follow us on TikTok, No Nights Off Show.
Well, and I'm considering making it my TikTok.
Listen, all right. I am with the new thing I got going on here. We'll get more like show clips, and then I'm also trying to build my own TikTok. That's the other thing because I want to do wrestling stuff, but like I also have like random thoughts. Like, did you see the TikTok I made about the peanut butter crackers
from recently?
I think it was when we were in Vegas.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Like, I had someone that I work with see that and then be like, oh, that was hilarious.
And they unfollowed you?
No, they followed me and liked the video.
I was joking. Calm down.
Obviously. So, I maybe stuff like that, but yeah, maybe I'll do a video. We'll work it out. Point is, it's growing. All right. And how does something grow? You water it. What is water in this situation? Your interaction, support, and subscription, follow, whatever. So help us grow that plant into a beautiful flower. All right. Help us get there. Follow us on all social media platforms as well. On X at Patty Pitts and at SMarshXO. Instagram at Patty Pitts as well. And my own TikTok at Patty Pitts too. And the No Nights Off Show TikTok at No Nights Off Show. So that's all we got. We're back on Thursday for a new episode. Super show. We got a bunch of shit to talk about, including the CEO's new boyfriend, apparently. And Blake Monroe is signing her contract probably as we speak. And I want to talk about it. I already posted a TikTok about it. So be on time and come to and check out that show, the Super Show, on Thursday, 7/10. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you gotta do is try. See you next time.